There we go. All right, welcome to this week's version of the Sportscast. Again, I'm Jason Blank, and my lovely co-host, Mark Wolfram. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm all ready to go.
Perfect. Well, we got a few things to go over today, but I guess the best way, I got another person, you guys coming in, join us a little bit. All right, so we got a couple things, but as we've been doing since sports has started up, let's do a recap of what's going on around the world of sports. So, Mark, I know you're our NBA guy. I got a couple of notes, but what's going on in the NBA right now?
Well, we're in the first round of playoffs. The first round, or the number one seeds, each lost their first game. But both came back yesterday to pound on the eighth seed. So things are starting to even off. And then there was the beautiful NBA lottery yesterday. So as typical, Minnesota, because of their record, ended up as, well, they had a shot at it, ended up with the number one overall pick. And those Bucks fans, we'll have one pick next year, number 24, but I have a feeling it will be traded before it was all done. But every day there will be at least 4 basketball games going on. So if you get bored of watching hockey, basketball is the way to go.
Well, I will tell you, I was a Timberwolves fan growing up, but I haven't been since they traded Garnett in probably 2007. So I have no dog in that race, but I will tell you the most exciting thing ever was last night after our coaches call. I got to watch Don learn in real time that the Warriors did not get the first overall pick after he thought they had the first overall pick, and that was more entertaining than any basketball game I've watched in a long while because he went from ecstatic to upset to telling me it doesn't matter. So that's the best part of this. His Warriors finished number 2 in that draft. So I know what I've heard from listening to or reading some stuff on Minnesota sports stuff is essentially that everybody's hoping that they trade him for Booker from Phoenix so they can get the trio together up there that they want. So
won't happen. He's playing too well for Phoenix, and they won't give up their top scorer. So
yeah,
he's staying.
I also got a text message from a friend from college who's a Magic fan after game 1 and said, just let me float for 1 game, please. And I said, okay, I'll give you 1. Oh, well, that's cool. So 4 games, that's where it was at. And then, have a day off because after tomorrow, there's no hockey games going on. So the first round of the NHL playoffs have pretty much wrapped up except for 2 series. So the teams that advanced right now are the Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars, Tampa Bay Lightning, Boston Bruins, and the New York Islanders. And so there's 2 more series going that are in Game 6 tonight. And the interesting part is that 5 out of the 6 teams that advanced were teams that were the top 4 seeds of their conference, so they didn't have to play in that qualifying round, which I thought was interesting because I think a lot of people were worried that if they didn't play the qualifying round that they may come out rusty and whatever. But all those teams won 4 games to 1 in their series, so that was interesting. And then, like I said, we have games tonight, off tomorrow, and then possible Game 7s this weekend, and then round 2 will start next week, and then it will be right back to where the NBA kind of is right now, where you have multiple games a day, every day. So both those bubbles are in full action, and there's no positive tests in sight. It's been a long while since either people in those leagues have tested positive, so it looks like we may get through these playoffs here, Mark. Isn't that remarkable?
Does the NHL play, where's their bubble?
They have 2 bubbles. They got 1 in Edmonton and 1 in Toronto. So Western Conference is in Edmonton, and then Toronto is where the Eastern Conference is, and then eventually they'll come together in the Edmonton bubble for the I believe it's the conference finals and the Stanley Cup final. So that's going to be the next big question mark. And then they've also talked about letting family members in and all that type of stuff, which is just, it just keeps adding into things, right?
Yeah.
And Mary had asked about, so for the NHL bubble, Canada actually made some exceptions for the NHL to participate in those bubbles. So that's when Mary asked if Canada was letting Americans in. So typically there'd be a 2-week quarantine for people to come in, but since they're going into a bubble, they had like a shortened quarantine for anybody in the bubble. I did know that for any of the reporters that came up to cover the games, like there was one that I follow for the Wild, she went up for a 14-day quarantine to be up there for a week, and then she was done. So it was a big risk for a lot of people to do. But anybody in the bubble, I think they had it was like a 5-day before they really started doing a whole lot. It was pretty short. But at that point, they were already testing people daily for a few weeks leading up to it. So made it a little safer. So on a different perspective, we can go over to Major League Baseball. We got another series that's postponed now. The Mets have had last I saw was a couple cases, but a player and a coach, I believe, that had tested positive for coronavirus. So Mets versus Yankees is postponed, which is, I thought was interesting as the second Yankees series. They got postponed because the opposing team had COVID concerns. But right now, that's the only one that I know of. Cardinals got back to playing last week, and they seem to be playing doubleheaders from here on out because they missed so many games. I think before they started playing again last week, they only had played 5 games.
Did you hear how they decided to, when they went up to Chicago, they each drove their own car? All right, so they had 41 cars in a row that went from St. Louis to Chicago to make sure that they were social distance.
Were they playing? They were playing the White Sox, not the Cubs, right? Yeah, Nate's
no, Cubs. Cubs was the first return one.
No, because the Brewers were playing the Cubs then. Yeah, so they were playing the White Sox. I have to ask, because if you've ever tried to park near Wrigley, 41 cars seems like a nightmare. Because their players park across the street from Wrigley. They don't even have parking in the stadium over there. So,
I want to ask Jenna how the Brewer-Cubs series went this last time.
Not going to lie. Since sports has been back, I have watched 0 sports because all my sporting stuff has been outside.
Well, if you watch Cubs, you're really not watching sports anyways, so you're not missing anything.
I get emails from the Brewers, actually. So I think it was yesterday. It was like, oh, yeah, take that, Cubs. And so I got the gist of it that they lost all 3, the whole series, right?
2 of the 3. It was a 4-game series.
3 of the 4.
Who, the Brewers?
3 of 4, Nate? Wow.
This is what
well, this year doesn't really count because of COVID, so it doesn't count. It's just kind of like they're warming up, and Sam probably would agree with me that it doesn't count.
No, I completely disagree with that. If you talk about Big Ten spring football, I'll agree with you, but Major League Baseball, well, it's totally the right thing. The transition there here, Jenna, this will help you out a little bit. So I've been updating who's the best team in baseball each week since it's changing. So this week's best team in baseball is the LA Dodgers lead the Major League Baseball with a record, followed by the Oakland A's, which is that's Don's team there, the Chicago Cubs, Tampa Bay Rays, and a little team across the border called the Minnesota Twins. I believe the Brewers played recently. So this is my comeback for Jenna here. Are you trying to unmute Jenna? There you go.
So the Cubs are still better than the Twins?
No, they're close. I think it'd maybe be a game or so.
Well, you said Cubs before.
Yeah, I went down the division list. So I think it's a game or so. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
You can fact check me there. We haven't played yet, even it's the Cubs, but the Twins helped them out by playing the Brewers twice in 2 series in the last 2 weeks. Mark and I touched base about the first series last week. This week it was the same but different. So They played Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, the Twins had a no-hitter going into the ninth inning, and then the Brewers tied it up. They scored 3 runs in the ninth, and then they went to 12 innings. The Twins ended up winning that one 4-3. Mark, the game you loved was Wednesday night, a 9-3 victory for the Brewers. And then last night, I guess the Twins didn't like that and turned it back around and made it a 7-1 game. So there you go, Mark. We got 6 games under all 6 of our games under our belt here for the whole season, and it ended up 4-2 Twins. So I don't know if you have anything you want to say about that.
Well, I'm looking at we've got we've played more road games. We've got the tough games out of the way. We haven't played the cupcakes like Chicago and Minnesota have so far. So there's hope yet. And once we hit September, that is Brewer time. All right. Look back at the last 3 years, right, Nate? Am I right? Brewer time comes September.
Well, Mark, I'll just put it this way. We can be fans of each other's teams from here on out because all we're going to do is help each other out. We'll play against the Cardinals and the Cubs, and you guys will play against Detroit and Kansas City. So we can go ahead and cheer for – I could be a Brewers fan for the rest of the year. You could be a Twins fan for the rest of the year. It's not going to hurt anybody.
I'm not sure I could stoop that low.
All right.
Yes.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else standing out. Oh, Nate's raising his hand. We got him. All right, go ahead and unmute.
I would say the biggest story all week was actually the Padres.
Oh yeah. Go ahead and share more about that.
Yeah, there's 2 parts to that. So first of all, last night they just made history. They're the first team in Major League history to hit a Grand Slam 4 games in a row.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and it's been a different guy each time, which was crazy, Monday through Thursday. So
that's a good way to get your pitcher in a good mood by getting 4 runs on one swing here.
Yeah. Yep. And then the other part was the Padres on Monday with Fernando Tatis.
Yeah.
They really helped out the pitching staff when he hit a 3-0 fastball and knocked it out for a grand slam.
And there was controversy there because he got the sign to take the pitch, right?
Yeah, and it was like the traditionalists versus like the younger generation, where they were talking about you usually sit on a 3-0 pitch just for them to get a strike over. But he went for it because they were up by so much anyways, and then he knocked it out. So
was that the same game that he stole third with being up like 6-0?
Yeah, I think it was, and he hit like a 3-run bomb like before that too.
He did not make friends. Let's just say that.
He's still more popular than the Astros are. So.
Well, the Astros they're on an 8-game winning streak, surprisingly. I know.
They can yell the pitch out to him rather than hit the trash can. That probably helps them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Nate. That's awesome. I knew I saw the Grand Slam controversy, and I was like, I don't know enough about it, but that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
It's been a fun week watching them.
Yeah. It's good. It's good that you have somebody to watch because it sounds like your Red Sox are just not – they're throwing it in this week or this year.
The last 2 games. So
there you go.
That's been huge.
There you go. Cool.
Yep.
Mark, anything else from the world of sports that you saw?
Just the controversy within college football, because some of the conferences are playing in the fall. Some of the conferences are playing in spring, and now Big Ten is looking to starting in January. So no one really knows what's going on at this point. So there is no national championship, but
it's not going to stop anybody from claiming it, though.
Correct.
That's why I always support my favorite team. I don't remember what year it was, but the undefeated Boise State Broncos. I just call them the co-national champions, and people love to hear that. So we'll have a fall national champion, a spring national champion, January a J-term champion. I don't know. We'll just give trophies to everybody.
Yes, Everybody gets a participant.
All right. Well, you want to get into our first, I guess it's more of a discussion topic than a debate this week about esports. So you brought this to my attention. Do you want to share what brought this to the top of your mind?
Well, I was reading the paper. Yes, I do read, and I do read an actual paper. And in it, they were talking about the Olympics, the regular Olympics, about starting esports for that. And I know Special Olympics is looking at doing that as well. So it kind of popped up going, all right, so if we do esports, what would be the game that should be, what would be the game that would be utilized for that? Now, I went old school. I'm talking old school, and versus the newer. But I also looked at, my selection was based around the games themselves. So before I give too much, Jason?
Yeah, Mark challenged me to find some video footage of the games he wanted to share because
that may not exist. Yeah. One does, not the other.
This is the Winter Olympics esport for Mark. What's the name of that? It's the Playhammer 94 Winter Olympics game here. So
my decision was you should have a Winter Games and a summer one, because we do winter and summer. So if we're going to do esports, you do one for one and one for the other. So I went with the traditional Olympic sports. And as you can see, this helps me because this is how fast my thumbs move while playing, and I could never, the hand-eye coordination. So this is about my speed, and I think it works great.
Here you go.
And it's got music and everything.
Yes. This is back when you had 2 buttons and some arrows, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, man. All right. Oh, Mark, I think you took the Olympic part of it too seriously here, because there's I need to switch this over real quick for mine. Stop it. Stop your game and move it over to mine because I know esports is a big thing. We actually had a couple athletes compete in a racing game here during this stoppage and in-person competitions, and I know that'll continue. And actually, mine's a good transition. I'm going to put Nicole on the spot. She mentioned something to me yesterday, but I had chosen this game before I knew that, and so I want to introduce you to Mark. I think you're going to love this concept, maybe. I'm going to introduce you to, you like soccer, right?
Yes.
What can make soccer more entertaining?
Soccer live,
played with cars. So I'm going to introduce you to Rocket League, okay? It's going to be just like what you're used to watching on Saturday mornings, I promise you. Ready? This is Rocket League. This is one of the big trends in video games right now.
Barcelona to set up
plays.
Here's
World
Wonder trying to find this one off the back wall. Drops it down! And Rogue, a 2-0 lead!
I said he needed to step up, and how does he do it? A great double touch. Up for this off the pass from Cordovi. Beautifully placed. Rogue with a 2-0 lead.
And there is world competitions, there's leagues. So this is from the Rocket League Championship. There's people get paid to do this, Mark.
15 seconds left, still tied up.
And I will... Cole, do you want to share what next year with Special Olympics Wisconsin thinking?
Yeah, so University of Wisconsin-Madison, our friends at the Recwell department, will be hosting a unified esports league this fall featuring Rocket League. So it'll start on September 20th, and we have an online registration form, so I can go ahead and post that in the chat. But if anybody's interested in playing unified 3v3 Rocket League, we would love to get you set up with UW-Madison.
So Mark, before we go any further, your thoughts?
Uh, wow. Wow. Was it? Oh, was it? I'm really not sure what to say. I'll be honest. I have never played video games, not even the handheld. Well, for 10 minutes on a handheld, my kids play. I have no concept of how that's done, but that's a lot of stimulation with. And I don't, is that, are those remote control cars? Are those?
Here's a good part. I guess here's why this is Rocket League's kind of grown in popularity. So one, it's mainly for online play, so people are playing against each other all over the world. It's on all three video game consoles, and you can compete cross-platform. So that's what makes it easier. So anybody who has the game can play somebody no matter what kind of video game console they have. And so that really makes it universal for them. And this summer, they made it free, so people can try it for free and play online. So they're really growing it that way. It's, like I said, they have a World Championship League, and they have World Championships for it. They're making money by people coming out and just watching it. So that was my vote for Rocket League. Esports in general is just a huge thing. It's growing. I mean, and a lot of the NBA teams now have a NBA 2K team. So, the Bucks have a team where they have guys who will play other teams, and NBA 2K. There's Fortnite's a huge thing. Call of Duty's out there where people are competing in these tournaments. And so I see esports. I mean, if you look at the difference between somebody who's in esports and a regular person playing, you can notice the giant difference in ability. So, it looks like that's a trend we're going to for the Olympics. It's a trend we're going through with Special Olympics, being able to offer some of these things. So there's a lot of different options out there, Mark. I don't know if they're going to go with yours. I think you have to blow on the game to get it to work for yours. So I think that's probably a downfall.
So are these played on computers? Or are they played on
like Xbox and PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch? They're all on those consoles. Yeah, I think there may be a PC version of Rocket League, but a lot of them are PC or like Xbox or PlayStation that they play on.
So what's more popular, this type of stuff or where the strategy games?
Like the PC strategy games, like are you talking like World of Warcraft and that type of stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there a style more popular than the others?
What was that?
Is there a style that's more popular than?
I think right now they pretty much, if you can make it into a competition, like where you can compete across, online, they've pretty much turned that into a league or a tournament at some point now. So I think, like Fortnite is the one that blew up, and that's just like a 1v1 fighting, or like it's a battle royale fighting game, and people kind of come in and all that type of stuff. I feel like I should ask people who have kids. Amber, do your kids play Fortnite? I'll mute you.
Yes, they do.
So am I doing it any justice by describing it?
It's another stupid video game.
I should ask Matthew, Tia, do either of you guys play video games? No? Yeah.
So how do you think I would do? Do you think the UW Rec League would consider me?
It says for all
Amber,
abilities.
come on.
It says for all abilities.
It's complicated, and you want to know what the kids, if they're not playing it, like watching it on YouTube. So they watch other people play it, which I don't get. So I'm like, that's too much Fortnite for me.
Dan, did you have something you wanted to share?
Well, like for me, I play Mario Kart. It's like a Wii game.
Yeah.
I also does Switch, but sometimes I play with my sister Clara, which is engaged to her boyfriend. And then I used to play it, but it's a little difficult challenges with versus and battle and the grand prize and stuff. It's kind of tricky.
Gotcha. Well, I'm with you on Mario Kart, though.
Yeah.
I love Mario Kart. Mark, you can pick up Mario Kart, I think.
I've heard it. My son and daughter-in-law, they play it quite a bit. They've actually gone to Halloween as the Mario people.
It's Mario people.
Yeah.
In the same world, Jenna says Super Smash Brothers, which is Mario characters fighting each other. I put together a poll, so what I did, I included the games that Mark and I said so what video game should they include in the Olympics? I did some research and looked at what video game series are out there that they're doing competitions for. So if you haven't heard of them, that's where that came from. The Forza one is the car racing game that we've already included with Special Olympics. So I'm going to give you 9 or 8 options. The other option's other, and then one is none. So I'll launch that poll here. So what video game should they include in the Olympics for esports? Shirley says Mario on occasion with her son. And he laughs the whole time because she's not good. We'll play 2-player Mario. Sometimes my wife and I will, and it does not end well. It normally ends in a fight. So.
Okay, I don't know.
Oh, Alex is joining us now.
Okay, which one? We'll put other.
See, someone voted for mine.
Yeah, I know. All right, we'll give it 10 more seconds here. Wii Sports, Matthew says. That's always fun. Wii Bowling, I was always okay at Wii Bowling. But I got really mad during Wii Tennis, I'll tell you. All right, I'll share results. So, Mark, you got a vote. You got a vote for both of yours.
Yes.
I got no votes. Jenna voted against me, probably. So I got 1 vote for Winter Olympics, 1 vote for your Summer Olympics games, which is the Millennium Games. Call of Duty got a vote. Other got 3, and none got 2. So none got more votes than mine did. So who raise your hand if you put other? I want to know what people said for other. All right, Matthew, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
What game do you play?
I play baseball.
Baseball game? Do you do is it MLB The Show or what kind of baseball game do you play?
I just play a baseball game on Wii Sports.
On Wii Sports? Very cool. Have you played the Mario version, the Mario Sluggers on Wii?
Yeah.
That one's fun too. I always put your fast guys in the outfield. Very cool. Thanks, Matthew, for sharing. All right. Is that enough video game talk for you, Mark?
Yes.
All right, let's move on to the Who Am I quiz. Tia, do you want to share? Here, I'll unmute you too. Go ahead. Unmute yourself.
So Tia will be leaving on Saturday, the day before this weekend. Can we do more of this on Thursday when I'm in North Dakota? I'll be seeing my grandparents.
You're going to go see your grandparents next weekend?
This weekend.
This weekend? Very cool. Yeah, and we'll be back on next Friday, but we'll record all these, so if you want to come back and watch some of them, you can, okay?
That'd be great.
Perfect. All right, Mark, this one might be a little hard. Do you have it in front of you for the Who Am I quiz? Hi, Alex.
Audio. It doesn't work on the computer for some reason. I don't know.
All right, so for the Who Am I quiz, we're going to go through some clues about somebody who's in sports. And it normally works best if you can use the chat to answer so we can see who answered first, but I have a feeling this one might be a little bit on the harder side, so we'll see. Mark, I'll start it off and then we'll alternate.
Okay.
All right, my favorite clue that I start off every one of these, I don't think we'll get on the first one. I am 36 years old.
Who's 36?
All right. I went to San Jose State University.
All right. I don't think we're going to get a lot of people in these first 4 clues. I think it's going to really happen towards the end if it's going to. All right. I started my career in 2005.
All right. I am by far the best in the world at my sport.
All right, I've held over 50 world records at my, or 50 world records during my career. 5-0.
All right. This one may give it away. The 4th of July is my biggest day to shine.
Nate's got it in the private chat, so we'll see if we get some. We'll see if anybody else gets it. Here, this one's another good one. Kobayashi was my biggest rival throughout my career.
Nothing? In 2020, I defended my title and set a new world record by eating 75 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Sam's guess is the hot dog guy, so.
Mary, that's called eating healthy.
75. Oh. All right. Lastly but not least here, my initials are JC.
I don't know. Who is that dog?
We knew this one might be a little harder. Yeah, do you have the answer?
Yes, I do. Jason Cooper.
It is not Jason Cooper, but good guess. All right. All right, I'm on. Nate, wanted to share with the group. You were the first one to get it.
Yeah, Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut. He is a world-class eater. And so I don't know if I should have put sports in quotation marks or not, but yeah, he broke 2 world records in 2020. He had 75 hot dogs on the 4th of July, which broke his previous record of 74 hot dogs. And he also had a world record for eating 32 Big Macs, which I don't know, 2 Big Macs sounds like too many. So, thanks for the sound effect. All right. Now that we've had enough fun with the with who am I, Mark, our next debate, it's one thing you brought up last week that we wanted to touch base with. This is one of those timeless debates because I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot of arguments going the other way, but we want to talk about people who are known for their Ironman streak. So there's a couple of them in pro sports, but 2 most notable are Cal Ripken Jr. and Brett Favre. So since you started last one, you want me to get started on this one?
Yeah.
All right. This is where I'm always nervous because whenever I start, Mark he's just writing notes over there. So I'm gonna use multimedia here. I'm gonna change my background. So the obvious answer, correct answer, Cal Ripken Jr. So I told Mark I had to get Cal Ripken Jr. for one important part, and I'll bring it up. So Cal Ripken Jr.'s streak was 2,632 games of consecutive playing. He was the AL Rookie of the Year, 19-time All-Star, AL MVP twice, Gold Glove twice. He was an 8-time Silver Slugger. And here's the reason why I had to choose him. He's one of 27 members of the 3,000 hit club. And I was at the game where he got his 3,000 hits. It was at the Metrodome, and I have a certificate that said 3,000 hit, and that was the loudest I've ever cheered for an opposing player when I've been at a game. So I wanted to. That's why I told Mark I have my connection there. So I think I saw this. This is all I read. He was the only Orioles player to start at shortstop for 14 years. Think about that. That's crazy. And so you're talking about thousands of games in a row. And the reason why I think his streak is more impressive is he had to play daily. You're not playing weekly like NFL players. And it's 162 games as a grind. And we're at a point in his career in the 90s, especially, there was a lot of rotations where guys would get days off. And he just kept on playing, played through some injuries, and really is just what I see as the ultimate Iron Man when it comes to sports. So Cal Ripken Jr., I say, is the most impressive Ironman, just because you're talking about thousands of games, Mark. What do you have to say about Brett Favre?
Well, first of all, the reason why he had to keep playing is because the Orioles didn't have another shortstop to play. So he was forced to play. And as you know, towards the end of his career, though he got hits and everything else, that's fine. His batting average started to go down as well. And he wasn't covering the balls up the middle and everything else. Why Favre's is better, and you didn't really say why Ripken is, why it's such a big deal with him, other than, you know, the Gold Gloves and all of that kind of stuff. Brett Favre played 297 games over 19 seasons, consecutive games, right? So Ripken played 20 years, Favre played 19. Now the difference is, as you had stated, every day in the sunshine versus the cold weather and 300 plus linemen running after you, chasing you around, beating up on you. There's a little bit of a difference. Also, Favre played with shoulder separation, sprained ankles, broken thumbs, broken hip. A lot of the injuries he played with that a baseball player wouldn't. So he actually played with a shoulder separation for 6 games, the end of a season, on his throwing shoulder. Do you think Ripken would have or could have? I don't think so. The football is he's that streak will never be broken. Now there is one guy that has a longer streak, but he's a kicker, so it really doesn't count. That's why players? What's that?
You say kickers aren't players?
Kickers are kickers, but
well, I mean, it must have been really hard for him to play and then get 6 days to rehab that injury and then play again. And so, I mean, that's pretty rough, and you know, considering the fact that maybe Ripken got a day off every week or two. Also, I mean, I feel like if Favre had sat a game or two out, his interceptions might have gone down a little bit. But
well, let me ask you, how many hit balls per game does a shortstop normally get? All right, so Nate, you tell me, would you say a dozen maybe over the game? All right. So how often did Favre have the ball?
They have a lot of warm-up throws between innings. I'm just saying. Yeah, see, with that. Hey, let me ask you a question, Mark. What's Brett Favre's nickname?
Stud.
What's Cal Ripken Jr.'s nickname? Iron Man. That's what we're talking about. I rest my case.
So they're both great, but one played through a whole lot more. He was more of an Iron Man just due to the position. And like it says, he played in all weather. I'm not sure baseball players do that.
What's it like in the fall in Baltimore?
Not sure. I've never been there.
Right. There's been snowflakes.
So that's why Favre, he's played through more injuries than I think Ripken has, and he's continued to play.
Well, he also played in a fraction of the games. All right. Anybody else? Does anybody want to weigh in? Who do they think is the Iron Man streak is more impressive, Cal Ripken Jr. or Brett Favre? Alex, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I like Brett Favre better.
That was going to be my uphill battle here. Is that we're debating a Packer in this debate, right?
Yeah.
Well, but Brett Favre played so long. You guys could have had Aaron Rodgers a little bit earlier if you would have just you got him on the field.
Yeah.
All right, should we launch? Let's launch the poll. We'll see what people say. Nate says under 62 games is a lot more tiring. He's also a baseball guy, so.
Yeah, they stand and then they go sit on the bench and chew gum, wait their turn, and then they go back out.
Well, football players actually only have like 12 minutes of actual gameplay in 60 minutes, so. Oh, we're getting some votes both ways on this. We got a lot more participation right away on this one.
Yeah.
Jenna says she never votes for a Packer, so that helps me. It helps me that
Wow.
Sam's a Bears fan too, so that's fine.
Jenna.
Do it 5 more seconds. We got 2 people who hadn't voted yet.
You're not allowing me to vote.
I know, that's part of the plan. All right. Share results. We got Cal Ripken Jr. with 6 votes and Brett Favre with 5 votes. So, sorry, Mark.
Jenna.
But I think you're right. Both of them are extremely impressive. There's a reason why they haven't been broken. And really, it's hard in any professional sport to be able to be starting for that period of time. I mean, there's new younger guys and you talk about injuries and you talk about fatigue, and there's always another person ready to step up in your position, and all it takes is for one game for them to show what they've got, and they can run away with a career there. So
yep.
Both of them are impressive. I think you're right. The Orioles had a little bit less in the system than maybe the Packers did towards the end there. But yeah. So that concludes our debates, discussions, all that type of stuff. So it's time to open up if anybody has anything for Stump the Host. So if anybody has a sports trivia question, try to stump Mark or I. We'll see if we can do this. Brittany got us last week on a nice team name question, which was fun. So does anybody have a sports trivia question? You can either type it into the chat or you can raise your hand and it will call in you. All right, Tia.
Would you rather like to play hockey or football?
Hockey or football, Mark?
What's the question?
Play?
What's the question? I'm sorry.
What would you rather play, hockey or football is the question.
I could never play hockey because I could never stand on the skates. The problem with football is it's created replacement of 2 hips and a knee.
Well, you can play European football.
That's kind.
It is. My answer is pretty obvious. That I play hockey. I don't play football, so that would be my answer. But I'd love to see Marco on skates one day. That'd be fun.
I skate on my ankles. I could never.
We'll try out floorball here shortly. Then you don't have to get on skates.
Do they do the double blades in the NHL? Is that a no? I could do the double blades.
I feel like that'd be harder.
Give me a walker out there with skates.
They do have those.
Okay.
Hey, there's guys I've seen play that in some of my leagues that use their stick as that walker. So
see, I'm right at home.
Right at home. All right. Anybody else have a trivia question? All right. Who's runner-up to Bo Jackson for the Heisman Trophy in 1985? Oh, man. Mark's thinking. I have more faith in Mark than I do in me pulling anything out here.
Someone from USC. Am I close? If it's from Sam, it's got to be someone from Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah. Shoot.
This is the best part of Stump the Host, where both people get quiet trying to think about what it's actually what the answer is.
I
have no. I couldn't name an Iowa football player if I needed to, and there's one of the quarterbacks for the Vikings this year is an Iowa football player. Dan, do you want to type it or do you want to say it?
Quarterback, right?
Yes, it was Chuck Long.
Which is a great name for a quarterback.
Him and his blonde curls.
Yeah, you remember him?
Oh, yeah. He was a Detroit Lion. He was drafted by the Lions and played. He was backed up. He started for a few years and stuff. But, oh, yeah.
So he was
beat
a Hawkeye.
Wisconsin a few times.
He was a Hawkeye and a Lion. Why would I even care about that player at all?
Hey, you should care about Iowa because Iowa sends a lot of players to the NFL.
How many of them are linemen? I can say that with Badgers too.
maybe that's we have to find out which Big Ten team has more players in the NFL. Outside of Ohio State and Michigan, between Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Illinois.
I think Minnesota's up there with like Northwestern at this point.
4. 2 of them are on the Packers.
So I grew up in Iowa City, and my dentist was a former Iowa football player, and he was the dentist for all of the University of Iowa sports. So I knew all the players, got all their autographs and everything.
Well, that dentist could have made a little bit more money if they had hockey to that down there. So
we stick with the real sports.
Brittany, who's Vince?
Vince Beagle? Oh.
A Badger football player. Well, he's in the NFL now.
And so torn Achilles. That does not sound fun.
4th round draft pick of the Packers?
Yeah, well then he moved to New Orleans and now he's in Florida.
Miami Dolphins.
There you go.
With Van Ginkel? And the other linebackers?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna be able to think of it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sam stumped us. I know everybody has another question to stump us. But I guess I need to read up more on my Iowa Hawkeye NFL draft history. I'm sure it's a big book, so I'll have to go through it. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us this week. Mark will be back next Friday. I am taking the week off because I just can't stand yelling at Mark for too much in a row. So Mark's going to have a different co-host next week, and then I'll be back the following week. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Bye, everyone.